Beautiful people, what's going on? It is nutritional wellness guy here, Chef D, joined by the one and only my guy, Dr. Dawson. Man, this is like what, four, five, six? You've been on here.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yes,
You
sir.
running the numbers up, brother. Today is episode 24, and this is about colon health. As usual, we start with our opening monologue so we can get right into it. So, welcome back to Coach's Corner. Today, we're shining a light on one of the most underappreciated systems in the body, your colon. Here's the truth. Most people only think about their colon when something goes wrong, either constipation, diarrhea, or maybe when the doctors mention a colonoscopy. Oh, my bad, y'all. Colonoscopy. But your colon is so much more than just a waste chute. It's the final stage of digestion where water is reabsorbed, waste is prepared for elimination, and beneficial bacteria helps to produce vitamins like K and B. Even more importantly, your colon houses nearly 70% of your immune system through the gut microbiome. That means colon health is directly tied to your immunity, your mood, energy, and long term disease prevention. As y'all know, our platform is about prevention and maintenance. Think about this: colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the US. Yet
Mm.
it's one of the most preventable cancers with proper nutrition, proper habits, and screenings. On top of that, poor colon function contributes to systematic inflammation, skin issues, fatigue, and even hormone imbalance. Now, earlier this week, I shared the basics, the red flags. We talked about micro habits and superfoods that keep your colon thriving. But in today's episode, we're going deeper with the one and only Dr. Dawson, who's going to help us separate fact from fiction, highlight what's conventional medicine often misses, and explore the naturopathic strategies that keep your colon, as well as the rest of our bodies, healthier for life. So, whether we're struggling with bloating, bathroom issues, or just want to understand how to protect one of the body's most powerful systems, this conversation is going to give you tools you can actually use. Dr. Dawson, welcome. Welcome again, people. This is for educational purposes only. We are not here to treat, cure, or diagnose anything that's going on in your colon health journey. How you doing today, good brother?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you.
Yes,
Yourself?
sir. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's been a great ride. I'm so humbled by this journey, this podcast journey. I mean, when I first started episode one, I was overthinking so much how to do it, what to say, how to say it. But it's literally my love language, and being able to share this space with people like yourself, Dr. Silva, Dopamine, my three regulars. This has become something that is I look forward to. I really do. But yeah, let's get into it. So right off the bat, why is the colon so central to both digestion and immune health?
Yeah, I think, a lot of people don't recognize how important the microbiome is. Okay,
Mm,
so the bacteria that is in our gut is there to serve us in so many ways. So that digestion and absorption of nutrients, along with supporting and protecting the body. So
okay.
it just makes sense when you think about it. One thing that is probably the most common way of getting into the bloodstream is through our digestive tract, right? So
Okay.
that's why we have cells to protect as a barrier from allowing things to be absorbed, different bacteria, pathogens, undigested food, straight into the bloodstream,
Mm,
into from our gut. Okay, so that microbiome is so important. But not only that, when it comes to our metabolism, hormone regulation,
wow.
these bacteria also play a big part.
Okay.
So I know we talked about before in the
Wow.
podcast the GLP-1s, right? There's GLP-1 and GLP-2, and they're both released in the small intestine and the colon. And
Mm,
it's released based upon glucose as well as fatty acids and also some amino acids, right? But it just makes sense. As the body starts to take in glucose, the
okay.
body responds with checks and balances. So our metabolism is also being regulated from our gut. All right. So what we
Sheesh.
take in, we are truly what we eat. but that's due to the absorption of the nutrients that we have there. So if we don't have proper digestion, then we can't absorb nutrients or eliminate toxins, which then again affects our health.
Wow. And that went right into the next question. I was going to say, besides elimination, what are the other functions of the colon? Because I think again, we just think the colon is the last exit on the ramp, before you get to the toilet. So what other functions, are part of the colon's responsibility or wheelhouse?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, immunity is huge, right?
Mm,
So when we talk about taking prebiotics and probiotics, it's very, very important because if we take antibiotics, for example, and clear out our soldiers, now we're left wide open, okay? Because the foods we eat have toxins on them, right? Whether that's different chemicals and sprays or different bacteria, viruses, or fungus. So we
hmm
need a good microbiome to protect us from those things. Again, our metabolism, our glucose being brought into the cell through our
mm,
digestion, right? That's going to fuel every metabolic process in the body. We need to produce ATP, which is produced through glucose, right?
mm. Gotcha.
Also, hormones, everything, is going um, through that microbiome into our digestive tract, through into the bloodstream.
The beautiful part about that is I you have a way of connecting the dots. So it's almost as if, sometimes we talk about these particular health focuses like colon health for one. There's not if you just do this, it's just going to support that. So, hey, just drinking, let's say, water or walking 10 minutes after your meal, or, obviously staying hydrated, it's just going to help with colon health. If you people, if community, healthiest family, if you've been following along enough, you'll notice that some of these are reoccurring themes. Like we're not saying you gotta eat moon rocks. We're not saying you gotta tightrope on the electric pole just because the current. No, we're telling you that if you do this, it's also going to support this, this, and this. So he's talking about gut and microbiome, and that in relation supports colon. So it's not like we're saying, so again, community, you're going to hear a lot of, you're going to be like, some of this sounds like from gut health, or wow, some of this sounds like it's from adrenal health, or yes, now you guys, now you're getting it because some of these fundamental practices are contributing to overall health.
Right.
Colon health, believe it or not, is it kind of gets the best of what you do, or is going to get the worst of what you do. Like Dr. Dawson always says, motion is lotion. So speaking of that, how powerful are simple habits like daily movement, stress reduction, and just bathroom consistency when it comes to our colon health?
Yeah, there's a clear connection with um, our gut motility, right?
Okay.
How much movement we're getting in the colon. And so when that slows down, and that could be not just movement in general, but your nervous system, right? So
Mm,
there is a mechanism to increase your motility just by stimulating your cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, through gargling. Okay. That will actually help. The cranial nerve goes from the brain through the chest into the gut, right? So
wow.
if you stimulate that and get that moving, then it can increase the motility or movement of your digestive tract. All right. So motion definitely stimulates your nervous system and in so many ways. And so the more sedentary you are, the more things
Yeah.
are going circulation, your gut, so on and so forth. Right. So movement is a nutrient to the body. And that's what we have to remember. Three things your nervous system needs: glucose,
Okay.
it also needs oxygen, and it needs
Yeah.
stimulation. So that
Mm,
movement is the
wow.
stimulation to your nervous system, and your nervous system controls everything. So if you stop moving, literally, motion is life. for
Yeah.
every part of our health in our body. So the nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, lymphatic system, that movement is stimulating everything to function.
Wow. What's the easiest starting point for someone who feels overwhelmed by gut issues? I'm sure in your practice that's something you hear often. Hey, I have gut issues. What's the easiest starting point for someone who's listening to this?
Yeah, it's hard to say the easiest, but I would say the most simple way to start is eating whole foods,
Mm.
taking out the processed foods. That's going to help you significantly, right?
Almost like a
Because
reset, doc? Like a reset, or you mean just as a new lifestyle? Because this healthiest community, like, yeah, how would you frame that?
great question. Yeah. You know, diet means the way of eating, not restriction. So yeah, it's
Facts.
a lifestyle, right? So the way
Yep.
that you should eat, it should be eating more whole foods. That means it's going to be more simpler ingredients to your food. It's not going to be
Mm.
15 different ingredients to this food that's bread, right?
Yes.
So or chicken from Chick-fil-A or McDonald's has what 30 different ingredients in it. When you
Hmm.
go buy chicken from the store and you put it together with some onions and you create some herbal seasoning, the ingredients is much more simple, it's much more whole, and you're
Fair.
going to have less of a digestive burden. So you see
Mm.
people when they begin to change their diet or detox, give their gut a break, they'll do all raw foods or they'll go to juicing or something to that nature to give their digestive system a break, take meat out, especially red meat, things that are heavier on the digestive system. So starting that way, first of all, taking processed, refined, you know, food out and then eating more whole foods and even breaking that down to more maybe vegetables and fruits where they have healthy fibers that again are going to help get the digestive system moving and
Hmm.
reduce the burden of the digestive tract. But the thing that you really have to also remember is the upper digestive system is going to affect the lower. So, in order
Mm.
for us truly to correct colon issues, it's not just take some probiotics, eat some fermented food, right? We have to make sure our stomach is digesting well, proper hydrochloric acid, making sure our liver and gallbladder is functioning well to emulsify our fats, making sure the pancreas is releasing digestive enzymes, breaking down the
Mm.
carbs, fats, proteins, right? So that whole digestive tract above that lower digestive system, which is your small intestine and colon, we have to make sure all of that is functioning well.
Well said. Oh man. Eh, ooh. I, what the impact, the profound impact on that is there's these gimmicks, there's these ads, there's these trends, and they speak towards a specific function. And you mentioned it because I like how you said that detox. So they'll say this is a tummy tea, or this is a juice cleanse, or this is a juice supplement or a cleanse supplement, 7 day, 14 day, whatever the case may be, because they're trying to help flush you out, but they're also trying to support colon or whatever the case may be. What's the dangers of those kind of things when you're uh, buying these products for detoxification and you just still eating the same way, but for only a certain amount of days you're taking this product or this juice cleanse? What is the implications of that?
That's going to vary based on the person. I can't say a one size fits all danger. I think for some people, it will help significantly, right? Because they are going to change the way they're eating.
Hmm.
But for me, before I put any of my patients on a detox for their liver and gallbladder, I want to fortify the gut because,
Mm.
again, detoxification is either going to be through stool or urine.
Okay.
Now, the major organ that is detoxing is your liver and your kidneys. But again, the liver, dumps into the small intestines, which goes into the colon. and then the kidneys is dumping into the bladder, right, to urinate. But we want to make sure that that barrier and that lining, once we start to detoxify things, is
Hmm.
not open. So now you got things passing through the bloodstream, and people might get flu-like symptoms and
Mm.
swelling and all these various different symptoms, which is an exacerbation of leaky gut, right? So I start with, let's heal your gut first, fortify the gut, heal that intestinal barrier to make sure nothing's going to pass through that shouldn't be, and then we detoxify, right? So
Wow.
that can be one area that I could say could be a danger is if you have this leaky gut issue that's going on, and then you exacerbate it by a detox, by then releasing all these toxins out of the fatty tissues and liver and gallbladder. Like now, you get a perfect storm of just more systemic inflammation.
Chaos. Wow, I think you saved somebody. I think you that's profound because most often people are advertised to detox. And like you say, you're so this was has always been my concern with the detox. It's almost like taking an antibiotic in a sense. It's like you just flushing out stuff without the support. Because I don't think people understand, and this is why I would like for you to speak on a little bit. There's a normal or there's a healthy transit time for ingesting and excretion. And sometimes what happens, I think, when people when they are very regular in the bathroom. In other words, they're taking these products and it's diarrhea, it's a lot of stool. Some of them are diuretic in a sense. So there's, they're pissing, they're peeing a lot, they're urinating a lot, defecating a lot. And they're like, okay, this is good. I lost this weight. I'm down like 15 pounds. This stuff really works. Can you speak to the misnomer or the miseducation of what's actually happening with that whole process and why some of those don't actually last, the results?
Yeah, I mean, results are going to last based on your lifestyle, right? So a cleanse, a detox, those things are short and temporary for a specific use. So
Okay.
if you're utilizing that for, let's say, fat loss, you may get some fat loss. You're probably going to get some water weight, like you're saying, especially if it's a diuretic and you're flushing
Hmm.
things out. Um, but you're not going to get a whole significant amount of fat loss depending on how long you're doing it. Unless you're
Mm.
doing a long term, like 30-day, 40-day juice cleanse, right? You're
Okay.
definitely going to lose a lot of weight. But
Yeah.
then the thing is like, okay, how do I properly get back to a healthy diet and relationship to food? Because once you stop the cleanse, once you stop, the specific diet or restrictive diet that you're on,
Hmm.
sustainability is the key. Number
Yes, sir.
two, like you're saying, if you're using a diuretic, you're, let's say you do have diarrhea, loose stool, or whatnot, you're losing nutrients. So making sure you're also replenishing your body with proper electrolytes and nutrients is,
Facts.
is what really comes into play. So yeah, I think there's a healthy way to do it. I think, like you're saying too, if you're just taking 7 days and you're doing something very extreme, you're flushing everything out. It's really about how you replenish afterwards to make sure you're healthy. So anything you do,
Hmm.
whether that's a supplement, a diet, a medication, the question is at the end, am I going
Yes.
to be healthier?
Yes.
Because the antibiotic is going to do what you ask it to do. It's
Yes,
going to
sir.
clear out bacteria,
Just
and it
nukes
may
everything.
remove right. It may remove the infection, but it's also removing your healthy microbiome.
Mm.
So at the end of this, how am I healthier? No infection, but no immune system and healthy gut microbiome. Now your digestion is off, and you're open really even more for an infection to return.
Hmm.
So I need to take the probiotics. I need to make sure I'm eating healthier so I can strengthen my immune system and my
Mm.
healthy gut microbiome, so on and so forth. Right. So
Facts.
that's really the question is how am I going to be healthier at the end of this treatment?
Wow. So, okay. Wow. My next question was going to say, are laxatives and colon cleanses helpful or harmful? But you answered that in such a great way. My takeaway from that is because I was deeming those things as like not good at all. But you have a valid point, actually. Yes, they could be a part of a system or a plan to reset your diet, not a trendy diet or restrictive diet, but your diet. Because I feel like for me, from the naturopathic side, that you said it at the beginning. If you just remove certain foods, actually starts the real detox because now you're giving your body a chance to do what the body's been designed to do. Just whole food, just saying, hey, to me, a detox is, hey, this week I'm gonna try something different. No soft drinks, no added sugars, no fast food, no fried foods. I'm gonna stay away from dairy. That to me is a detox, you know? Hey, I'm gonna cut the alcohol this week. To me, I feel like that is the cheapest detox you can ever go through because now
Mhm.
you're relying on the body to do what the body's been designed to do. And during that detox, you add prebiotics, probiotics, you add other components, antioxidants, and things that are going to support, like you said, reinforce the gut and build that microbiome back up. That's a
Yeah,
double whammy. You're reducing certain foods and you're increasing other foods that are gut friendly. That's the most cost-effective detox you can ever do for the gut and the colon. And
right,
people are like, well, what about the parasites? All of that stuff will start taking care of itself because sugars and yeast and all this other foolishness, that's feeding the stuff you can't see. That's why you're in a bad mood. You slept 8 hours, but you still cranky. Oh, I didn't get my coffee. Coffee's not a adaptogen. I mean, it's
right,
nothing about it is it's increasing your mood. It's if anything, it's more like a nocebo effect. Like the caffeine is something to smell. I get it, the sensory sensation.
right. Yeah,
But
yeah,
truth be told, there's nothing about that cup of coffee, unless you are doing your mushroom coffee, is good for you. But
right.
nothing about that cup of coffee should dictate if you're going to be in a good mood or bad mood this morning, because it's so much more than that. But I'll say those for Wednesdays. I'm gonna say that for Wednesdays, Doctor. I almost got off track. All right, so all right, so in regards to that, are there any like integrative nutrition strategies? Like I mentioned slippery elm, and things like sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut. Like I used to hate as a kid, but I just do like two forkfuls every couple of days. Are there any other integrative strategies that we can do, like teas or castor oil packs? What are some things that can help with the detoxification process naturally?
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of good you can do. I like that you mentioned, sauerkraut. There's kombucha. Your fermented
Mm.
foods are going to help with that microbiome. Dandelion root, chicory root, those
Oof.
things give, prebiotics and help feed and nourish, the good bacteria in your microbiome. So those are great. You do have slippery elm,
Hmm.
which has that ability to help kind of coat, you know, the intestines. So there's a lot of good herbs and supplements you can take to help support your microbiome. Short chain
Mm.
fatty acids, help repair that lining.
Okay.
Obviously, healthy probiotics is going to help support and crowd out bad bacteria. So
Mm.
that's also really important. You have things like aloe, licorice root. All those things help support, epithelial lining, whether that's
Wow.
in the esophagus or the intestines. All those things are really good. You also have marshmallow. You know,
I was
um,
gonna say.
yeah, it's also another good one, marshmallow root. So yeah, there's so many, and many of the herbal supplements for the colon will combine these things in order to make a good proprietary blend that helps support your colon. So
Fair enough. What about screenings? How important are screenings, and at what age should people kind of test the integrity of their colon?
I mean, any age, right? Anytime
Okay.
you have any digestive stuff going on, it's a great thing to do to screen. And I do a comprehensive gut test. that's going to look for gut inflammation,
Mm,
malabsorption, right? A lot of people don't recognize that they're not absorbing their nutrients, which again, we talked about before in gut health. People say you are what you eat, but you really are what you absorb. So,
so, ooh, that's a
right,
bar. Oh,
right.
oh, I want to put that under here. Like, healthy is you are what you absorb. That's a bar, doctor. Wow. Okay.
So that's the key, right? You got to make sure that your gut is functioning at an optimal level. If you have
Hmm.
overgrowth of bad bacteria from the colon into the small intestines, that's called SIBO, sorry. And so that can create a lot of bloatedness and gassiness. So
Mm,
getting these tests done will
wow.
help pinpoint the actual cause. Because a lot of
Okay.
times, people are just like, yeah, take some probiotics,
Yeah.
take a laxative, so if you start to really pinpoint what's going on, it's going to give you a much customized approach to your gut. Because let's be honest, like health begins and ends with your gut. That's the foundation. And
X.
so the way I explain it is like it's the soil in which we grow our health from, right?
Wow.
So we really need a healthy gut, like we talked about. That immune system is huge, right?
Mm,
And then all your absorption of nutrients, which is going to supply your body with what it needs to fuel every function. It is highly important to have
mm.
a healthy gut. So getting that test done, it's usually an investment, but it's one of the best investments because it's going to set the foundation literally for the rest of your health.
Because you're not getting this through blood. Well, you're not getting as comprehensive through just a blood lab or just a urine lab. Like this is the, like you said, and I know again, this is one of your proprietary approaches for whole health analysis and screening that you want to see. And this is, the stool side, what's coming out. So if a lot of that was supposed to be absorbed in the bodies in the fecal, then that's when you start to address, and again, this is why you're so you and why your practice is so valuable, because then you start coming up with game plan on how to figure out, for one, how to reinforce the gut. And you look at a person's diet, you look at their lifestyle, and you help them strategize with a plan, and also some proprietary blends that you recommend and that you work up. And I think I just needed to highlight that because people have been seeing you on the platform and not understanding that they can actually reach out to you, and get some consultation. They can reach out to you. Everyone's on my team has reached out, and you've been such a
Yep.
blessing. It's funny, like the group chat, like, all right, so I got the box. So what am I supposed to do with the kit? Or hey, you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I sent in my stool sample. I wonder what, and it's such an investment in our health that it's like, wow, he's encouraging this amazing culture. And anyone listening to this, I'm telling you, this is not just, again, my doc. This is also a really close friend and a brother of mine. The integrity's there. His passion for whole health is there. Check out some of the older episodes. You'll know, and you'll get to see who he is. But if you are in a place where your colon health, or let's say your gut, you're dealing with bloating, you're dealing with fatigue. You're every once in a while you're getting polyps or hemorrhoids, or you see there's traces of uh, blood in your urine, and you've spoken to your primary care physician. They're like, "Oh, it is what it is. It's okay. It'll pass." Or here, put this hemorrhoid cream on it, or do this. They're giving you sometimes more topical treatments than a whole health approach. This is where he comes in. So you go to him. When you're tired of being tired, you go to him when they've given you the runaround. I suggest go to him first, but we human nature, we got to do it the hard way first. But once you feel like you know your body and people have given you the runaround, your doctor's giving you the runaround, the specialist is giving you a runaround. They did a colonoscopy, they really didn't find anything, but you're still bloated. You still get uncomfortable when you eat. You're still dealing with mood issues. You're moody, and it's not menopause yet, and fellas, it's not midlife crisis yet. You're just in a weird. You feel sad, you feel depressed. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. you wouldn't believe, community, that some of that, I would say a majority, but I don't want to speak clinical. I don't want to give a clinical statement, for something that is how I feel. I believe a large part of mood is tied to gut health. Point blank, when you are in a space where you are just blah, and it has nothing to do with your bills, it has nothing to do with the kids, it has nothing to do with your career, has nothing to do with your hobbies, you just don't want to get out of, you just feel blah. Believe it or
Yeah.
not, something that they won't tell you, they'll put you on a medication before they figure out what your diet looks like. So
Hmm.
what the good doctor is saying is, before we start adding all these supplements and medications and all this other stuff, let's start going back to basic common sense eating and removing the garbage. The stuff with the 15 to 20 ingredients, start there. Fast foods, start there. I mean, nothing about that stuff is contributing to good health. So start there. Just start with elimination before addition. And then when you start getting to addition, he threw out some stuff, the slippery elm and just fermented foods. It's there, y'all. Doc. Oh my gosh, our time. Time is just always like just doing the time thing. All right. If someone listening has ignored their colon health until now, what's the one best step they can take today? I mean, you said it, but can you just tie it all together on what you said? Like, if you had a 2-minute soapbox right now, what would you tell this person about their colon health? They ignored it. They don't really think there's no big issue, but they just, they're doing them.
Yeah, we talked about first off toxins, right? So the foods that has so many different chemicals in it that's going to challenge the digestive tract, removing those. The other two things that I really focus on in my practice as well is deficiencies, filling in the gaps,
Mhm.
right? Making sure you're getting the proper nutrients in where you're deficient, and then number two, removing the sensitivities, right? So,
Okay.
another good test that I do is called a food sensitivity test. So our immune system has several different responses. So we know immediately if we eat shellfish, peanuts, whatnot, we have an allergy, right? Start to get
Hmm.
anaphylactic, your throat tightens up, you're itchy, your eyes swell, something like that, right? But then there's also a delayed immune response over 72 hours. Okay, so you can
Oh,
eat eggs on Monday and not have symptoms until Wednesday or Thursday, right?
wow.
So getting a test that will show you specifically which foods your immune
Mhm.
system is responding to based
Okay.
on your blood and your immunoglobulins, that's a very helpful test as well. And that way you can remove those sensitivities so it's not constantly irritating the gut lining, creating
Wow.
that systemic inflammation and just exacerbating things for you, right? Again,
Wow.
affecting your mood and everything else. So yeah, those are just some of the ways just to start, get a foundation, and then from there you can start to even remove certain foods that may be healthy, right? Like I've even had kids that egg whites, egg yolks, avocado, pineapple, things that you would say
Mm,
eat these things, they were actually activating their immune system. So
wow. Wow. And you said you do these tests with your practice, so people don't have to come to California. You're set up in a way that you can support East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, like you have that set up. Okay.
yeah, of course. Yeah, we can have them receive the kits at home, get the
Okay.
testing done, and send it back to the lab, get the results, and then we're able to deliver it to them so that they can make the changes from there. Yeah,
Wow. I usually put this in the description. Doc, do you mind just sharing your website just for them listening now on YouTube, Spotify, what is it, Apple Music and iRadio? Yeah, can you share it out? Just spell it out for them.
yeah. So that's Dawson'sHealthSolutions.com. D as in dog, uh, AWSON, healthsolutions.com. And then they can also find me Instagram, same thing, Dr. Jonathan Dawson on Instagram.
I love it. Wow, thank you. This was great. What was our next chat is thyroid health, right? We got thyroid
Yes,
health.
sir.
Woo, that's gonna be one of those ones because I feel like that community sometimes. when I say that community, people who have hypo and hyper when it comes to their thyroid, I feel like sometimes it feels helpless because there's not enough people talking about it. So I'm excited about that. As people know, this is about prevention and maintenance. So we want to make sure you all are set up for success. And the other beautiful part about this platform, we're not waiting until there's an issue. There may be signals, there may be clues, so we're gonna get it early on. But if there's nothing happening in that department, so right now, let's say colon, your colon, you haven't had any noticeable issues. We're setting you up because you don't know what you don't know. So we're giving you what the don't know is, so that way now you could start connecting the dots. So when you heard gut health episode, when you heard heart episode, when you heard when you hear these episodes, now you're just like, okay, now I get it. Like Dr. Dawson say, me supporting the upper half or the upper side of my digestive system is in response going to support the bottom half. So there's not a direct support because you're not bypassing all of that unless you got a multivitamin enema, which I never even heard of. Unless you bypassing all of this just to go up the chute, which I don't recommend for good health, then you need to understand that everything he mentioned today is taken care of from up here to down here. So whatever's going in here is supporting everything down there, and then it gets out there. And we haven't even the episode with skin health. We got respiratory health coming up. So even the air you're breathing, the toxins, the aerosols, the chemicals you're putting on your body, all of that is still getting absorbed. But we say that that's down the road. We got those episodes coming up. Dr. Dawson, I appreciate you, brother, for just gracing us with more wisdom and more understanding. When we know better, we do better. And remember, health is wealth, and we're just here to make sure all y'all getting paid. Until next time, yum on.